Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes, and today I'm going to be doing an anime review that I spent way too long to finish. Way too long, because I've been too busy in November, as I've been busy in every single month. But anyways, this anime is called City the Animation. So yeah, this anime is from mangaka Arawi Keiichi, and this is animated by Kyoto Animation. And if you didn't know this, Arawi Keiichi is also the mangaka behind Nichijo, also animated by KyoAni, into one of the most iconic and critically acclaimed comedy anime series of the 2010s. Nichijo has spun tons and tons of YouTube clips of like all the funny moments. I unfortunately hasn't seen it, but I've been wanting to see it for a long time. It looks funny, and I'm really happy to see that Kyoto Animation is back with more good, really freaking well animated animes with City the Animation, which is basically a spiritual sequel to Nichijo. Nichijo is mostly about high school, but City the Animation is also about college life and working and just being in a town, being in a city in general. So the elephant of the room is that the animation is fantastic, as expected from Kyoto Animation, who is pretty well known for treating their animators better, at least, and unlike some other animation companies. And they're also known for just really good animation, and City the Animation is freaking amazing. A lot of the scenes, a lot of the characters, a lot of the movements look fantastic. And yes, it doesn't have the normal, regular anime sheen that a lot of animes have nowadays, and I think that's fantastic. This is a very nice breath of fresh air. It's very bright, very colorful, very childish, and every single episode just runs with so much whimsical, imaginative energy because the animation is just so bright and youthful. So that's fantastic. The OPs and the EDs are fine. They're fun, they're cozy little stop motion animations, and again, emphasis on the coziness of it, because I feel like even though this is comedy, I don't find myself laughing through every single episode, but what keeps me going is that I just like how cozy and comfy I get from watching the show. It's fuzzy, it's soft, it's easygoing, it's very small. This is probably the most slice of life TV show I've ever seen among all the other slice of life. So this isn't like Bocce the Rock or Nokotan, where it follows a group of people and they have their own goals and it's kind of funny and kind of goofy. This is genuinely slice of life. This is very choppy, it's small. We have these smaller bite-sized vignettes where each episode can have anywhere between 4 to 7 small stories. The humor is also very Japanese, and I am a firm believer that all human beings in the world find the same few things funny. But the setup around these gags are all very just inherently Japanese, I feel. So some of the humor kind of just flew past me. I kind of don't really get the joke or anything. But again, the emphasis of this anime, I feel, is just more of a comfy thing. You know, you wake up and it's early in the morning and you sit down and have a good breakfast with miso soup and some eggs, and you switch on the TV at 7 a.m. in the morning, and this show just plays, and then you go do your thing, and then next week you come back, you tune back to the same TV channel, and then it plays another episode kind of deal. So it's very much not a TV show you binge watch and just stuff it in your mouth and just consume it all at once or anything like that. It's very much the kind of show where you just sit down and relax and you just watch whenever you can, kind of thing. Lots of nonsensical, ridiculous humor, lots of silly randomness, lots of quirkiness, very dramatic, no irony type of humor. And yeah, sometimes I feel like, or for some people, this type of humor probably wouldn't work as well, but for me, I think it's which is fine. It works sometimes, doesn't work sometimes. What's surprising about this anime is its absolute huge character ensemble. There are like, what, 15, 20 characters, and all of their lives kind of intersect. They run into each other, something silly happens, some other characters run into each other, and then some crazy thing happens, and it's all kind of interconnected. And I didn't quite get that. So for the first few episodes, it was a bit tough to follow. Occasionally, the show would have a manga. So one of the characters is a manga artist and his editor, and every time they meet, they're like, "Oh, your manga is going to be discontinued because it's bad. Wait, never mind. You can do one more month of this. Wait, never mind. It's going to be discontinued." And they just don't know how to tell each other that, so they just go kind of like this very dramatic performance. And at first I thought this is a fourth wall break. I thought this is about the mangaka of City, the animation, especially because it says City in his office, but turns out they are actual characters in the story, and I didn't know that until they start interacting with other characters in the story. But I think when the story clicks, it really clicks on episode 4. The character Nikura lost her pendant, and she spends the entire episode running around town trying to chase after a cat that has her pendant, but by doing so, every time we have an eye catcher. So an eye catcher is when the logo or the title of the anime kind of plays in the screen, and then you cut to a different scene. Full Metal Alchemist kind of situation. Every time there's an eye catcher, you have an X, you have a crossroad where one character we're already following in the previous scene walks past, and then new characters cross paths. And then the next scene, we follow those new characters, and it keeps going on and on and on. We keep having new characters, and they all cross paths, and they all somehow run into the pendant, and then something stupid happens to them, and then at the end, they all kind of collide to each other. It's honestly a lot of fun. And then we have episode 5, which is easily the episode of the show. This is also probably one of the best episodes of the year in anime. The tower montage, when Nagumo was trapped on some tower and she had to go down each floor and defeat a useless antagonist. That whole scene turns into a square in the frame while 6 or 7 other scenes happen at the same time, like we are watching multiple TV channels. Or it feels like one of those security cameras where you have the main screen and you have a bunch of side screens. And for like 10 minutes, half of the episode is just this insane multi-screen, like one gag every 30 seconds kind of situation. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how they pulled that off, but it's genuinely one of the most impressive things I've seen in anime this year. And then at the end, as if you think that is enough, at the bottom of the tower, Nagumo leaves the tower and she runs into this huge party where everyone is invited, and it just bursts into this bubble, this endless stream of bubbles, and each bubble has their own gag and has their own like little characters trapped inside, and you're just thinking, what the fuck happened? Like, how did they animate this? This is amazing. Then episode 9, we have something similar. It's called the City Race, where a bunch of characters have to like race each other. And once again, it's a fun way to bring all the characters together, unite them, and then have shenanigans happen. And then there's, I think it's either on episode 10 or 11, there's a shogi match scene that I thought was kind of funny as well. My 2 favorite characters in the entire anime is Matsuri and Eri, or E-chan. And these are just 2 friends. They're just goofy. And they have the most amazing chemistry ever. They would constantly have inside jokes. They would goof off of one another. And the most like soulful thing about this storyline is that E-chan is going to the UK to study. And that's sad. Matsuri doesn't want to leave. E-chan doesn't want to leave Matsuri. Matsuri doesn't want her to leave. And there's so many scenes where they are about to say goodbye to each other, but they just can't. So the only way to cope with that loss is through humor, but through the humor you can actually feel how sad the scenes are. And it just struck a chord with me, especially the second last episode where Echan quote unquote erases Matsuri's memory so that Matsuri doesn't have to bear the sadness of leaving Echan. That was really painful. And then we have the goodbye scene in the airport on episode 13, which was so just painful to watch. It almost brings a tear to my eye, but they sort of like reach an understanding. They're like, we'll see each other again, and it's just genuinely beautiful and hearty and amazing. And then the rest of the episode is just a musical, of course. So yeah, very kooky, very funny, extremely creative, some of the best animation all year. Some episodes, some gags are a bit tough to sit through because I'm not getting the humor or I just don't really care. But this is still one of the most sort of well thought out, well put together slice of life comedies I've ever seen, honestly. So yeah, I'm giving City the animation a strong 8 out of 10. So if you watch City, comments below, let me know, grab you one more. Thanks for watching.